So I'm CEO of Loud Marketing and also coach for my clients who are doing so amazing with their social selling. And I'm really excited to share with you some more tips and tricks and ideas. And some of the things that I talk about are things that, of course, I've tried, tried and failed, and tried and been successful at. So today I want to go over fact-finding questions and tips for improving, because the thing about, I guess, what I'm working on right now is making sure that I'm asking the right fact-finding questions, not just in the beginning, but even throughout the whole conversation in the sales process. Just really making sure that I'm finding out the right information, because what that does is it allows me to figure out what the client actually needs and why. Because the best way for me to be able to provide service, just like you, the best way for you to be able to provide service or a product or something like that is, or whatever you have to sell, is to be able to figure out what the person's needs are. Because once you discover their needs, you're going to be able to either solve their problem or help them fall in love. Those are kind of the two the two things that people will buy, because they either have a problem that you can solve, or because they fall in love with exactly what you have to sell. So some things that I find that are really beneficial when I am going through fact finding and figuring out what challenges a lead opportunity might have is, and this is one of the hard things, is asking hard questions. So if you're asking hard questions, oh goodness. So it's snowed here overnight, and it looks like we have the snow removal people just with their snow blowers. So my apologies for the noise. Hopefully it's not. Oh my goodness. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'm sure it will go by quick. Oh, the joys of live video, I guess. Anyways, so asking the hard questions, it's a big deal. Asking hard questions. It's a little bit uncomfortable even. It's a little bit uncomfortable to ask hard questions. Man, I'm really sorry about this noise. Hopefully he's just going to go all the way around. So anyways, asking hard questions. Back to that, asking hard questions. So some things that I think about when I'm trying to consider what questions to ask. Like, have you ever done this before? Did it work? Did it not work? What's, I'm just going to, there is a chat. So I'm going to, hey, Margot. If you guys have any questions about anything that I'm going through, feel free to drop your question in the chat as well. I would love to know where you're showing up from, where you're watching from. So anyways, one of the things that is always challenging is asking hard questions that people don't want to answer. So if you're speaking to a customer or a lead or an opportunity, and you're asking them a question, and they're trying to maneuver their way around what your question is, like I have people who reach out to me sometimes on social media. And so when I get back to them, I want to make sure that I'm asking questions so that we can have the most efficient, effective conversation, and both obviously understand the purpose of it. So making sure that I'm asking the right questions when I'm having that interaction at the same time, it actually cuts down the time that it's going to take me in the future to make sure that they're a good fit. Or it will also help me figure out what products or solutions to help them with. So asking hard questions also helps people understand how much of a problem they have. So for example, if you ask a question that your lead or customer hasn't considered as being a reason for them being interested, if you ask a question that triggers them to consider that information, pulling from their knowledge, pulling from their brain for the reason, then they're more likely to think about it and consider that they might actually need it more. So hard questions definitely take skill, even lots and lots of role play. And yeah, definitely. Here's the thing with hard questions. When you're asking hard questions, sometimes it could get uncomfortable. Sometimes the lead might not answer you directly. It's important for you to still get that information, obviously not making them uncomfortable, putting them at ease when you're asking the question. But I know that sometimes for us, we don't necessarily ask those questions because it makes us uncomfortable. But think about the fact that you're asking these questions because you want to be able to provide the best product or service. And the best way for you to be able to do that is to get this information. And so it's very, very, very important for you to ask these questions. As well, making sure that you're talking about their previous experiences and what happened and what they liked or what went wrong. Making sure that you're staying on track, asking questions and getting answers. If you are interacting with a lead or customer online, your communication is going to be slightly different than if you're in person. But making sure that you're getting the answers that you need, sometimes if needed, offering averages just to make them so for example, if you ask a question and the business owner doesn't know, well, they should know, or the decision maker, not necessarily business owner. I'm talking from my own perspective, I suppose. But being able to make sure that you have an idea of what their industry average is just allows you to be more prepared for what answer they might throw out to you. And then be prepared for their answer not to be the truth. Be prepared for them to be just giving an excuse so that they don't have to answer your question, especially if it's a hard one. And I will tell you that I sometimes in conversations will get nice guide. It's when I say nice guide, it means like someone will say to me, yes, I'll get back to you. I'm really working on figuring out how to better present these questions, and I'm constantly learning. And I wanted to share all of this with you because I've had years and years of this experience and different opportunities. So there is someone here that's on another chat, because I see that there's some chats here, but there's a chat here from Instagram. I want to know how would you handle or recommend when you have a client that's not providing the information that you need? That's a great question. So if someone won't actually answer you, it's still important for you to get that information, which is why I suggest that you at least have an average idea. Because if they are totally unwilling to give you that information, and you do have an average or an example of what might be their industry average, then you can very easily make that as a suggestion. Does that sound about right? And hopefully be able to transition the call into them, actually the call or the DMs, into being able to actually communicate information back and forth and have them answer your questions. So that's a really great question. Thank you, Camila. So another, I guess, the last thing for me to talk about today is just figuring out the why. I'm adjusting my phone today. Figuring out the why. So the why is the most important. Why do they need you? What's their problem? How can you solve it? Communicate that. Ask hard questions. One other thing I wanted to mention before I wrap up is I have been talking to, I talk to business owners, I talk to entrepreneurs, I talk to intrapreneurs all day, every day. And what I'm discovering is that there are a lot of business owners that are maybe even just getting started, especially with what's happened over this last year. There have been so many people who are just taking the opportunities to grow their knowledge and start new businesses and become entrepreneurs or even intrapreneurs within their own organizations. And I decided that I would like to have a webinar. So the webinar is this Saturday at 12 Eastern Time, 10 MST. And I'd like to invite all of you to join me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach how to set up Flowdesk. So Flowdesk, if you are on my email list, you will have seen my emails that I send out using Flowdesk. And I really, really, really love Flowdesk. So I guess, first of all, I should mention Flowdesk doesn't have anything to do with the fact-finding questions, although we can certainly talk about that. But Flowdesk is amazing for my audience that I've been speaking with. And so I wanted to set something up so that I could host an opportunity for people to learn from me. And so on Saturday at 10 Mountain Standard Time and 12 Eastern, I'm going to host a webinar where I'm going to show you how to set up Flowdesk, how to set up your first email newsletter. And the really cool thing about Flowdesk is there are landing pages, there are forms, there are opportunities for you to be able to use other features. I'm going to pop the link in my chat here so that you can get a discount for Flowdesk, and then also so that I can have the link posted so that you can sign up if you're interested in learning for me. I'm excited. I think that there's so much opportunity for people to learn and be successful on their own. Like, I know that there's so many people out there that can do things on their own. They don't need to hire other people. They just need to be shown how to do stuff. So I'll do it. I'll show you how. So anyways, I'll pop the link below for the webinar and the Flowdesk discount. And hopefully you'll join me on Saturday so that I could walk you through step-by-step how to set up Flowdesk for your email newsletters, and then to be continued setting up landing pages for another day. But Saturday, hopefully I'm going to see you all, or as many as possible, so that I can show you how to do that. And yeah. Anyways, once again, thanks so much for joining me, and I'm excited to see you all on Saturday. Join me on my Facebook group, for sure. Join me there, Social Selling Growth Masters on Facebook, and I'll see you all next week, same time, for some more tips. Thanks so much, guys. Rebecca Cramer. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.